Well, welcome to Spotlight On, and I'm your host, Dara Jones. And I'm honored today to introduce our guest, Dallas-based songwriter Helene Cronin. Helene has played at local venues here, such as Poor David's Pub, but she's also a regular entertainer at Nashville's Bluebird Cafe. She's opened for Kathy Mattea, Chris Hillman, and Willis Allen Ramsey, and Helene was the 2018 New Folk winner at the Kerrville Folk Festival. Helene, I'm always amazed by how you tell a story with your songs. Can you tell us briefly how you got started doing that?
Yes, I started writing songs in college and just never quit. And began at first writing songs in the contemporary Christian genre because that's where I had opportunities to sing and play churches and weddings and things like that. And then I began to branch out into country music, which I had grown up not liking country music. So it was kind of a surprise to me in the late 90s to switch over to country and start listening to those stations and finding out that's where music went, that was lyric driven and story driven. And I loved some of what I was hearing. And it was, you know, Patty Loveless and Kenny Chesney and some of those story songs. And so as I listened to those and began to write in that genre, I felt like I kind of found a home. So even though I hadn't liked the twang of country, I loved the storytelling and the craft of lyric writing in the country genre during that period was extremely high. So I began coming to Nashville, and my particular style of writing is not dead on country. It's really a little bit more Americana, folk, singer, songwriter. But I've managed to blend what I do with what country does in telling stories and trying to share something or a thought or a theme or something that matters to me, and trying to put it on paper and then putting music to it. So I stumbled into it accidentally, sort of.
Well, you do it beautifully.
Thank you.
Well, let's actually, in honor of Veterans Day today, let's watch an example of "Lucky Me," one of your just a wonderful piece that you've done.
Stood in line beside a soldier at the airport ticket counter, catching flights out of Tennessee. We made a little easy conversation. I asked his destination, another tour of duty in the Middle East. Just said, lucky you, and I thought, lucky me, he's right. I sleep in my own bed at night. I am safe and I am warm when he's wide awake in a uniform. Lucky me, while he fights a war, I live the life he's fighting for. He is the brave, I am the free. Lucky me. I stood there silent, and all I heard echoing from those two words were all the things he did not say. Lonely and scared, battle scarred, family back home praying hard. He never knows if he'll see another day. But he held up his head and looked me in the eye. And right there in those two words, I could hear a soldier's pride. And I thought, lucky me, that's right. I sleep in my own bed at night. I am safe and my family's warm when he's wide awake in a uniform. Lucky me, while he fights a war, I live the life he's fighting for. He is the brave, I am the heavy price, and we don't all pay our equal share or know what it's like over there. Lucky us, the ones at home, while others go to the battle zone. They are the brave, we are the free. Lucky you, lucky me, lucky you, lucky me.
I just love that.
Thank you. Gosh, it was good for my heart to see that video again. I haven't watched that in a while. My sister put that video together for me, and the images that she chose are just so perfect.
Very powerful.
Yes.
Well, there's a backstory with that song.
There,
It came at a pivotal time for you. Can you talk to
it
us
did.
about that?
Yes, I had started coming to Nashville in 2003 or 4, and started trying to figure out how to get into the community here, how to get involved, how to write songs, trying to network. And you know, Nashville is an incredible community of songwriters, and no place like it on earth where you have so many songwriters crammed into this, however many square miles it is. So it's the place to be if you want to write in the genre that I write in. And I had been invited to a workshop up here, and I came to that workshop thinking I was going to be discovered, that this was going to be my big break, and I would meet a publisher and I would get a publishing deal maybe, or at least some interest or some open doors. And the trip was disappointing. It just did not turn out the way I wanted to, and the doors did not open, partly because I wasn't ready for them to open and the songs I played weren't ready. So a friend had given me a pass to fly on American, and I decided to go get out of town as soon as I could and catch a standby flight. So I, instead of catching my 5 o'clock flight, I went to the airport about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I was trying to get out of Nashville, feeling beaten down, feeling discouraged. And for the first time, standing in line next to a soldier, for the first time, I spoke to a soldier in the airport. I had never done that before, and I don't know why I did that day. I know now why I did, but at the time I didn't. I just thought, well, you know, he's probably going someplace harder than where I'm going. But I just struck up a conversation, and it only lasted a couple of minutes. And I said, well, where are you going? He said, another tour of duty in the Middle East. And just like the song says. And when he asked me where I was going, my normal answer would have been Texas or Dallas, or, you know, but it never would just be, I'm going home. And that's how I said it, you know, sort of hanging my head a little bit and just feeling really down. And that's when he just looked at me and he said, lucky you. And it wasn't a rebuke, but it turned my head around. It stopped me in my tracks. It made me think. And I didn't even try to write that song for 2 years. I just let it sit. I think this happened in about 2005. And I just let it sit for a couple of years. And then one day I just pulled out a yellow pad and I just started writing the lyric. And pretty much what you hear in that video is the original lyric. I've since tweaked that chorus a little bit. And there's a newer version that came out on my 2015 record called Belong to the River. And there's the newest version of Lucky Me on that record. But, you know, it's just one of those experiences that, you know, God put you in this place at the right time to meet this young man. I wasn't supposed to, my destiny that weekend was not to meet those publishers and get a publishing deal and be recognized. My destiny that weekend was to meet that young man in the airport and hear those words that he had to say to me. But I didn't know that till a couple of years later. And I went, that's what that weekend was. So to me, it's like one of those things where you find out disappointment and heartache sometimes have the ability to open your heart and make you vulnerable to people and to humans and to interact with them. And that's what happened to me because I was in a vulnerable place and I just decided to share that moment with somebody else. And I got a song out of it. And I would you know, I don't know whatever happened to that guy. People have asked me, have you ever met him? And it's like, no, I don't know.
I was wondering that myself.
I don't know who he is. I'm pretty sure people have said he probably came out of Fort Campbell in Kentucky. And, you know, he gave me a great gift that day in getting my perspective right. And then giving me a song idea that I could share that has had huge impact on not only on my career, but the people that I've been able to play it for and that I hear from and who let me know what the words of that song mean to them, whether they're families of service members or service members themselves. I've heard from every branch of the service. And I've heard from veterans of every war, all the way back to World War II. There are not many of them left, but that song came out in 2008, 2009. And so it's been on the internet for a while. And I think we put that video up in 2010. And I started hearing from men and women right away that they felt seen, they felt not patronized, but I think they felt the gratitude that I wrote it with. So that's been an amazing experience.
Awesome. And
Yeah.
I understand you got to play it for at least one thing that I know about is a large gathering of military. I can't remember what it was. Can you tell us about that?
Yes. What the biggest group I've ever gotten to play it for was, I can't remember the year, 2013 maybe. And I got invited to a Medal of Honor celebration in Louisville, Kentucky. And the Medal of Honor was established by Abraham Lincoln. And so this was the 150th commemoration celebration of Abraham Lincoln establishing the Medal of Honor, held in Louisville at the KFC Yum Arena at the time. And there were 15,000 people in the audience. And I've never been in front of that many people at the same time. But I got up there, just me and my guitar. Daryl Worley was there with his band. Dennis Haysbert, the actor, introduced me. Tony Orlando was there. I took my picture next to Tony Orlando. And I was the only artist that day who got up with just a guitar, just me and my guitar, and just sang that song. And the audience, by the time I got through the verse and the first chorus, the audience started clapping because they got it. And in that audience were 65 Medal of Honor recipients. And so I got to meet a lot of them afterward, and they gave me a Medal of Honor book, and some of them signed the book where their page is, that tells their story of why they got the Medal of Honor. I've sung it. I've been on the Mike Huckabee show. That was also back in 2010 to sing it on national TV. And that's what helped the song go viral. That video that you just showed went viral for 5 or 10 minutes and got me a whole bunch of views. But it's really the song that renewed my belief in myself as a songwriter, and that I could craft a song that might speak to somebody else and that might be important to somebody else and might make a difference in their lives. And that's kind of what keeps me going. I sing it around Dallas. I sing it for anytime I get a veterans event that wants me to come to, I will do that, and don't expect to be paid for that. It's sort of a way of giving back. So grateful for where that song has taken me.
It's a lovely song.
Thank you.
And you are a songwriter that has a great craft in telling stories, and that's a good example. But you've told many others. So can you briefly tell us about like your last album?
My last album, yes, I would love to tell you about that. My latest album is this guy right here. Can you see it? Mm-hmm. It's called Old Ghosts and Lost Causes, and it's got 11 songs on it. 5 of them I wrote by myself, 1 with my daughter, and the other 5 are co-writes with some of my regular Nashville people. So it's Old Ghosts and Lost Causes is sort of the culmination of years of me working here in Nashville and taking some of the best songs that I felt and my producer Matt King felt like fit the best onto this project, and went together as a body of work. So I released that October of 2019. It's gotten rave reviews from, I hired a publicist for the first time and got some really good reviews in the Americana world. And I'm still proud to play any of those songs off that album. But it's the first album I've done. I did an EP in 2014 with 6 songs on it. That's called Restless Heart. And then in 2015, I did another EP of 7 songs, and that one's called Belong to the River, and it has Lucky Me on it. And then I waited a while, and I kind of gathered my resources and released this one in 2019. And all of them are available: Spotify, Apple, Music, iTunes, everywhere. And then if you like actual CDs, they're all available from my website.
COVID-19 days, and live performances are a vital part of being a musician.
They
How are you dealing with that?
Well, gradually getting out to play a show once in a while, but of course, safely distanced, and people wear masks, and we bump elbows instead of hugging. And but my entire calendar from March, I was heavily booked from March through August, out supporting that album, and all of that disappeared. So I've gotten to play an occasional show here and there. Sometimes I play Love and War in Plano, Love and War in Texas, Plano location. I did a live stream show from Poor David's Pub a couple of months ago in August. And then I sometimes will play a show up here in Nashville. That's sort of a big free for all of, people getting up and down and playing, but it's been quiet. Most money incomes have dried up, and that's not just me. That is all the singer-songwriters that I know are having a hard time financially right now. So I think music will come back. I think live music will come back. It may look a little different for a while, but I think we'll get back to where we can be in front of people again. Because that's I've talked about it before, but that's like the feedback loop of you sit in a room alone and you write songs and you slave away at it and you love doing it. But then when you get to be in front of people and get their response and get that love back, that's kind of where all of it comes together, and you realize you're lucky to get to do what I do. So
on your website, it said that you especially liked, and we'll end with this, it said that you especially liked the smaller venues where you could get that intimate connection.
Yes, because things like house concerts are ideal for people like me, because it gives us it gives me a chance to briefly tell the little setup story behind why I wrote the song, and then to have people respond to the stories as much as they do. They like to know why you put it. So why did you bother to sit in a room all day and put a song together? They like to hear those background stories. The art of it is keeping it short enough that you don't overpower them with 10 minutes of talk for a 3-minute song. But I love house concerts. I love small venues. I like meeting people and talking songs.
Well, thank you, Helene Cronin, for joining us today on Spotlight On. And
thank you, Dara, for having me. This is such a treat, such a wonderful surprise to hear from you.
This is a treat for me. I always, whenever I see that you're performing somewhere, which has been Facebook a lot these days.
Yes. Yeah.
And are you still have some things up on your Facebook feed, do you not?
I do, yes. Helene Cronin Music, or just my personal page, Helene Cronin. And I've been trying to do some single song videos and just starting to put them up on YouTube. So I also have a YouTube channel where you can listen to anything that I've put out. You can listen for free on YouTube. And yes, Facebook, every once in a while I'll go on and do a live Facebook show of maybe an hour. And it's always fun to hear from people.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Dara. I appreciate it, and just wish all the veterans out there respect and love on Veterans Day, and thank you for your service.
Amen. Thank you for your service.